Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, you're going to meet a best-selling author. She wrote this book. It's called Real Vibes Only, Unapologetic Confessions of a Hot Mess Mompreneur. I cannot wait to introduce her to you. That's next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, my next guest is wildly successful in construction, but she's here not to talk about her construction success. She's here to talk about her best-selling book. Chelsea Husum is in the studio. She's a best-selling author, speaker. She's my friend, and the book is called Real Vibes Only. So tell us about the book.
Yeah, so the book is a lot of short stories from my life, really just hoping that giving people permission to be real. Stop trying to be perfect, step into your true authentic self, and, just hopefully inspiring people to overcome things in their life and stop holding on to shame and guilt and things like that, and just step into who you're meant to be.
Sure, and you were telling me before we went on camera that the book is pretty heavy. In fact, there were some things that you hadn't even told your husband. Mm-hmm. Do you want to share?
Yeah, so there's all kinds of stories, some lighter, but some are more traumatic. 20 years ago, I was studying Spanish in South America by myself, and I was drugged and raped, and I woke up alone in an abandoned house. I had been left alone. And so obviously very traumatic. And I shoved that down. I did not tell a soul for 20 years. And so this book was me literally acknowledging it, getting it out, healing, and saying, you know what, I'm taking my power back. I'm done. I'm done letting that bad person bother me and let this keep me up at night. And so I was like, wow, I need to tell my family and friends, because this is going to go out into the world and be a book now. But it's really, since I've done that, I have had so many women come up to me and say something similar happened to me, and actually men.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Tell me, what was that conversation like? Did you say, honey, I've got something to tell you?
Yeah. Oh, it was kind of brutal to know I had to tell my husband and my family. And I remember we were sitting in the hot tub one night, and I said, hey, I have something to tell you. And I told him, and he's like, well, do you want to talk about it? I said, I don't need to, but I've worked through it. We can. And he came actually to me a week later and was like, hey, babe, I've been a little down this week. I've been driving home from work sobbing. It really makes me angry that I wasn't there to protect you. I wasn't there, to let this not happen to you. And I said, this is my husband. I love you so much. Thank you for caring. But I don't want you to sit and wallow in it. I now have healed and moved on. But yeah, it was tough. And my parents all cried, but they, again, just say, we felt bad this happened to you. And I said, I know that, but I know you guys, if you could have stopped it, you would, obviously. But we all moved forward. And now they're so proud of me for just speaking my truth and giving other women permission to do the same. And maybe women aren't going to podcast about it or write a book about it or, go on a TV show about it. But at the very least, forgive yourself and heal, and know it wasn't your fault.
Wow, such a powerful story. Thank you for having the courage to share it. We're going to pull up her website, and you have a great slideshow right on the front of your website. Let's talk about your speaking career. And when you're called to speak, what do you typically speak about?
Yeah, I love speaking about entrepreneurship. Like you mentioned, I own a construction company in Denver, so I've literally built it from nothing. And now I'm in the high 6 figures. It's over doubled every year. I love talking about, that and being able to build a company your own way and be successful. and not do it how everyone else says you have to do it. Do what speaks to your soul. So I love talking about that. I love talking about overcoming adversity, talking about being a mom and an entrepreneur and just juggling a million things and just embracing, yep, I'm a hot mess, but I always want to grow and be better. And, you know, I know that I have a message to share with the world now. And so that's my goal, is just to talk, to be real. And, you know, because then you find your tribe. If you are out in the world pretending to be perfect all the time, I don't want people to look at me and think I'm perfect. I want people to say, she is out there, you know, busting her butt, working hard, doing really cool things in life, but she's also real and relatable.
I applaud you for that. Let's pull up the book cover again and put it full screen so we can talk about how you came up with the title. So, Real Vibes Only, Unapologetic Confessions of a Hot Mess Mompreneur.
Yes.
Okay, how did you come up with the title?
Well, to be completely honest, I was on a work trip in Breckenridge and I was drinking margaritas on a Zoom call with my publisher.
Yes.
And I had told her, hey, I came up with the title. And she said, that's really boring. That is not at all. I've read, you know, we've talked, that's not you. We need to come up with something better. So it is. And it's like, she's like, you're just real. You call it like it is. I think the first chapter is, if you're a perfect mom, don't read this. And it's just all of these unapologetic confessions of stories, like stupid things I've done in life, because I want people to look at me and be like, okay, like I want people, you're going to laugh, you're going to cry. You know, I want it to touch your soul and you feel something, but you don't feel alone and you can just be yourself too. And you know that you can go through life like that.
Yes. We've got some video of you speaking, and as we put up the video, let's talk about the reaction to your speech. I mean, when you're getting that real about the sexual assault, what kind of comments do you get after the speech?
Yeah, well, so I went to, literally right after I spoke, I went to the restroom. 3 women came up to me.
Wow.
Just in the restroom, like 2 minutes after, and said, thank you for sharing. Something similar happened to me, and I thank you. You know, and I've talked to Amberly Lago a lot about that. She had a similar thing, and she said, you know, women need to hear this. They need to hear, you need to allow them to have permission to, again, forgive themselves, get rid of any shame or guilt that they have, and whether they, just like I said, make peace with it for themselves or they go out and share it with the world, it really doesn't matter. It's, you know, it's so personal to each person.
Yes. We'll pull up her construction website because I think this is a fascinating part of your life as well.
Yes.
I'm going to call it Woman in a Man's World, because what percentage of construction companies are owned by women?
Well, there's only 9% right now of women in construction in general. So I would say women owners are probably 1% to 2%. Honestly, it's not very big.
Wow. And you found a wonderful niche. Why don't you describe that?
Yeah, so we do concrete scanning and core drilling. So more or less, you're like on a high-rise building, for example, you're scanning the concrete for safety to make sure you're not going to hit anything. And then we do the circular cutting in floor wall. And then I mainly work with electrical and mechanical companies. They come in, they fill it all up with whatever they fill it up with. But yeah, I'm just, you know, I'm working at airports, hotels, schools, hospitals, prisons, like you name it, we're there. Wow. Commercial construction.
And I know you have 2 kiddos. What are their names and ages?
Yeah, so Wyatt just turned 8 and Owen's 11.
Okay,
so 2 little boys.
What lessons are you hoping that they're taking away from your speaking career and your book?
I think all I want to do is make them proud. I hope they see that really with my construction company, I'm literally building something. Like we drive, even around my town, I live in a suburb right south of Denver. And we're driving around, I'm like, hey guys, the hospital, Mom helped build that. That new library, Mom helped build that. The airport, Mom helped build this. Like I'm helping build things that people live their lives in. How cool is that? And it will last so much longer than I'm gonna even be around. So it's really cool to have a piece of where people live their lives. But I also want, well, my son's like, Mom, I Google you. You're coming up on YouTube and stuff. And I'm like, okay, like don't watch that stuff, bud. It's a little, it's some deep topics there. He's like, okay, I'll watch it when I'm older. Or I'll read you said I can't read your book now, I'll read it when I'm older. I just want them to know that I was real, tried my best, and was authentic and vulnerable, and hopefully that I inspire other people.
What a great way to leave this broadcast. We're going to also leave you with her website, which is chelseahusum.com. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
You bet. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.